till I can't no more.
I got the horses in the bag. Horse stock is a tag.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Protocol 36. Today's video, we'll be talking about one of the greatest adaptations for Spider-Man, and that is Spectacular Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man to many people in the Spider-Man community is one of, if not the greatest adaptation of Spider-Man ever in any medium. The fact that it was cancelled in just only 2 seasons broke many people's hearts, and it left many people to petition for a season 3. But in this case, it looks like the show may never come back. However, what if I told you, according to the executive producer, Greg Weisman, there is one option to get the show back. The likelihood of this happening is pretty low, however, it's still a chance nonetheless. This could be our only hope, as we don't know what the future holds, and there potentially could be another chance in the future for the show to return. But before we talk about that, we have to talk about the complications of why it was cancelled in the first place. Now, the reason why it was cancelled was because of the fact that Disney bought the merchandising right and the TV rights of Spider-Man in about 2011. And when that happened, Spectacular Spider-Man was airing and was being produced by Sony. Sony at the time had the TV rights until Disney bought it, therefore making Spectacular Spider-Man a Sony product. But since Disney couldn't continue the show, since it was a Sony show, it would mean that Disney would have to create their own Spider-Man cartoon, which inevitably became Ultimate Spider-Man, and eventually they made this Marvel Spider-Man cartoon. And ever since then, we just have little plans and confirmations of what season 3 could have been, and we know that the team over at Spectacular Spider-Man planned the show to have at least 5 seasons, and after that to have straight to DVD movies set in the continuity of the show, which, as they wanted to make a movie about Peter going to Florida to face the lizard, and also potentially could have had movies set in Peter's college years. Even though we had many revivals of old cartoons like Young Justice and Samurai Jack, Spectacular Spider-Man seems to be the one everyone wants right now, including myself, for good reason, as not only was it a great show, but it also faithfully adapted Spider-Man's lore and stories. And the only way we could get it back is if Disney and Sony made a deal, similar to how the film division of Sony and Disney made a deal to bring Spider-Man into the MCU. They would have to do something similar in order to continue Spectacular Spider-Man. Since Disney has the TV rights of Spider-Man and Sony still holds the rights of Spectacular Spider-Man, it would mean that those two would have to work together in order to make sure that the show continues. However, since those two corporations are too massive to just bring one show back just for fans to watch, the likelihood of this happening is extremely low. However, it doesn't mean that it's impossible, and that in the future maybe there could be another way that the show could come back. As Greg Weisman, the executive producer of the show, somewhat still has hope when a fan asked if there was going to be an episode of Spectacular Spider-Man where it would have focused on the anniversary of the death of Uncle Ben. Greg Weisman said no spoilers, even though he later on confirmed that the show wasn't going to come back. To me, it shows that he's never really given up hope that the show could potentially come back one day, and hopefully it does. However, what about you guys? What other ways do you think Spectacular Spider-Man could come back? I think one other option would just be that Disney would have to wait until somebody buys Sony to get the full rights of Spider-Man back, which may include Spectacular Spider-Man, but who knows at this point. Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and one more, subscribe to begin Protocol 36.